Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Service Writers Anonymous. I am Amy, along with my beautiful co-host, Miss Brooke.
Hello.
And today our episode is called Great Customer Service Starts with a Great Customer.
Yes, it does. Let's get into it. This one's gonna be a fun one because what people don't understand, you came to me. Okay, let's just start there. You came to me with a problem.
Yes.
I told you how to solve it and you're mad at me.
Yes.
Why? Why? I just want to know why. And honestly, I think this could also be the episode where we could start having people maybe respond to certain things.
Yep.
I would love to hear from people.
Throw your comments in.
Yes.
Full video live on YouTube. Spotify, we are video and audio only. Mm-hmm. Get your podcasts on Amazon, Apple, and iHeartRadio. We were on there as well.
Oh, yeah. And we're also going to have clips on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yes. So leave us your comments, leave us suggestions. What do you want to hear about the industry?
But you go ahead. You start with the first incident.
So that phrase, that great customer service starts with a great customer, was actually from my last service drive manager. Mm-hmm. And he said that to one of our customers, which was a great story in and of itself, because this, and I repeat this a lot, anytime somebody brings up like the TRD line with Toyota or Camrys or whatever, I always think of this story. He's on the service drive in his TRD Camry. Mm-hmm. They've been advisor and customer for years. They've had a great relationship for years.
Good, okay.
Yeah, I bought this car for my wife, but she doesn't like it. She doesn't like driving it.
Okay.
But I'll give her that it's faster than my Corvette.
Corvette?
His Corvette. It was... and he said it in the most deadpan, just the little grin on his face.
Oh, God.
It was so great.
Oh, dear. And you know, I think a lot of the reason we do this job is for those good customers. Like,
Yes.
actually good customers. And what that is people that understand we are there to help you. We are there to just communicate the complicated whatever is happening to your car to you. So that you don't have to talk to my tech. Because my tech won't be nice to you. I will. Okay? I think it's so frustrating because we'll run laps and laps for people. We'll find the cheapest part, the best part. We'll find the good warranty for them. We'll make the labor cheaper, even if it comes out of our pocket. People that are not in this industry understand that we are commission-based in most instances.
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time, service writers are commission-based, which means whatever we sell, that is what we are making. And only usually 2 to 5% of that number.
Yeah.
So if we're giving you good deals, we're taking the door rate from 165 down to 120, that's coming out of our check and we're just doing it to help you. So if your entitlement is really what it is, it's what it is. People think that things should be free or shouldn't be as expensive as they are, or that you're out to attack them. It seems to be this stigma, that's not a word, stigma of all repair facilities are out to screw you. All repair facilities are out to take advantage of people. And it's not always the case.
It's not always the case, but it is a shockingly high amount of the time.
Oh, and I definitely, it's why I came into the industry.
Yeah, it is disturbing.
I hate people.
Yeah.
And that's what's funny too, is most service advisors also don't like people. We're not people. We don't. Well, at least most of the ones I've met.
And I wouldn't limit it to service writers, though. I think anybody that works with the general public on the daily, cashiers, all of your service personnel, I think collectively, nobody likes people.
No.
But that is
It's our job.
our lives. That is our livelihoods. That is our cross to bear in this life, is we have to deal with people.
We have to deal with people and answer a question of, my check engine light is on, but why does my remote start not work? I have two different concerns, don't you understand?
Right.
We'll save
Oh
more
my
on
goodness. The remote start.
that.
Yes.
It's my favorite call, to be honest with you, because I don't have to ask a mechanic anything.
Right. I can just tell you that when your check engine light is on, your vehicle doesn't know exactly why that is. It just knows what system has a fault. It doesn't tell you what that fault is.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
where the technician comes in, is to find the fault from that system. So your car doesn't know what is wrong with it, so it's not going to let you start it without actually being in the vehicle needing to have it started.
it's a fail safe. It's a fail safe so that it does not cause further damage. It's my favorite thing in the world. Actually, here's a fun story. We're going to talk about a time that I was at my last dealership. So, a really sweet older gentleman. Super sweet older gentleman. He was a retired vet. He walked on a cane, and he was just harder than nails. You could tell everybody else didn't like working with him because he was just so blunt and stern. I appreciate that about people because we get down to business, we get it done, you go away. In the nicest way possible, right? Because again, I don't like people, guys. So, like, as much as I want to talk about your car and say, yeah, nice rims, man, you know, this is sweet, keep maintaining it, get out of here is what I want to end it with, okay? So, this sweet old man comes in, or calls me, actually, and says, Brooke, my truck. I swear these things these days. And I said, sir, what's going on? So he tells me that it won't start. He doesn't know why. He thinks that the engine's done for. All right. So at this time, it was 2022. He was in a 2022 GMC 1500. It was brand new, you know, that he had just bought it. It only had like 2,000 miles on it when this happened. Okay. So 2,000 miles on the dash. He thinks the engine's done. So he gets it towed in. And I prepped him ahead of time. If there's nothing wrong with it, it's a weird glitch, nothing I can file under warranty, you have to pay that tow bill. GM's not going to pay it. He knew that, prepped for it. Tow truck driver drops it off. It's a really nice guy that we normally work with when he brings the tows. He came in with it and says, Brooke, I think it's the fuel pump. I can't even believe these trucks these days, right? So I've got this super sweet old man and the tow truck driver telling me it's a fuel pump. These trucks these days. And I walk over to it just for giggles. Just for giggles to see what I could find on it. And I just happened to poke my head in and look at the floorboard. And see that the floor mat was covering one of the pedals. That pedal is the accelerator pedal. So the accelerator pedal was pushed all the way to the floor. It took everything in my customer service professionalism to not bust up laughing in front of both of these grown men, okay? So I pull the floor mat out, the pedal just pops back up, I put it back, I go into it, brake, push button, starts right up, fires right up. And they both just look at me, now what'd you do? And I said, so it's a weird thing. The vehicle will not start if your accelerator pedal is all the way to the floor. Won't start. They both look at me and say, what? And that older gentleman looks at me and says, this is the time I'm gonna divorce that damn woman. She's the one that put these floor mats in. He gets in that truck madder than hell and drives out of there. I hadn't seen him for a while until he dropped his tailgate on his hitch and popped a hole through it.
Oh my God.
Same gentleman. One of my all-time favorite customers because he did the most outlandish stuff, but he never yelled at me.
Right.
He never yelled at me. He was always so happy to talk to me. He was always so embarrassed, but he was happy to talk to me. You know, it was a good time, and it really made me enjoy my job because I didn't have to get a mechanic.
Yeah.
So no door rate. They didn't have to talk to a tech because they're flat rate. So they're paid by anything that they can diagnose and sell. That is what they're paid on. They are not paid to have to get pulled off of a job. They are getting paid on to go outside and look at your radio for free. Or look at your AC making a weird twiddly-dop noise. We'll talk about noises on another episode. But I think that the customers that had just understood that I'm not there as a bad guy. I'm there really just to help you. That's why I do it. I enjoy it. I enjoy to learn about it. I enjoy to explain to people that don't know about it, that want to learn about it. It's why I got into the business. I remember distinctly going into repair facilities and absolutely hating the experience.
Yep.
Hating the experience because they were mean to me, first off. You don't need to be mean to me. I'm not a mechanic. I wasn't born with a freaking toothpick in my mouth and a wrench in my hand. Like, excuse me, ma'am. I hated that. Oh, God. And then just I do understand the stigma of trying to be sold stuff that doesn't need to be done.
Absolutely.
But I mean, as a customer, guys, just ask to see it. Ask to see it. Can you show me what you're talking about? Is there any way that you can just explain to me a little bit clearer what's going on here? Just because asking those questions, it's the same thing about buying a house. Look into the fine print. Look into all of that stuff so you're not getting what you thought was a 5% interest rate is actually a 15% interest rate. It's the same thing, but in a different way. Ask about it. That's all you got to do is ask about it. And if you're with an advisor that is rude or doesn't make you feel you can ask those questions, ask for the manager.
Or go to a different shop.
Or just go to a different shop, to be honest with you. I mean,
for every bad shop I have encountered, there is at least one good one around the corner. Mm-hmm. If you're not liking the experience of the shop you're at, go on down to the next one.
Go on down the road to Jiffy Lube. Just kidding.
And if you've had great experiences in the past and have one bad experience, that doesn't necessarily mean you should write off that dealership or repair shop either.
Exactly. I agree with that completely. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, right? We all are going to fault sometimes. Even technology that's supposed to be perfect and designed specifically, it will have faults. It's half of our job.
Yep.
Technology that faults. Mechanical parts that fail. Because they're just mechanical parts, guys. It's not fairy dust and...
These things aren't transformers. They don't heal themselves.
I wish.
That would be nice,
Do you imagine being able to have Bumblebee pull in the shop and be like, what's up, bro? What's wrong? Is it the brake fluid this time? Is it leaking? What's going on? See, that would be amazing. That would be so much fun.
Yes, or if you could diagnose something solely from a check engine light.
Oh, my
How
gosh.
nice would that be?
It would make our job so much easier.
It would make our jobs easier until we get to the point where now we're chasing 10 times the amount of wires.
Oh my
Because we have to monitor every part in the system instead of just the whole system.
Right, exactly. You don't have sensors just kind of designating you into an area.
So, there is no way to win.
No,
That's why the
not.
technicians are there.
And I mean, that's why, as much as everybody says they're expensive, I mean, that's why they get paid the way that they do. They went through so much college schooling, all of this stuff. I mean, and not even just that. They had to get certified in brands. They had to get certified in certain specifics, hybrids, full electric.
Qualify to take the ASE test, you have to have 2 years of on-the-job experience.
Mm-hmm. And how hard is that most of the time?
Absolutely. And 2 years of schooling does count as 1 year, but you still, no matter what, have to do a full year out in the field before you can even start taking these certifications.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a lot that these guys and women go through to be in the field. And not docking service advisors, but we didn't have to go through that much schooling. I had to go through classes to be trained in what I do. However, you don't trust me to turn the wrench. You trust me to explain things to you correctly. And quote you numbers correctly. That's what you trust me to do. And so, just like understanding, I mean, I wish we could just go back in time a little bit to just people like going next door and knocking on the door and I need a cup of sugar and your neighbor giving it to you. You know, that kind of just like understanding people are imperfect.
Right.
Things aren't always going to be what you want them to be. We're not
robots. We're not Stepford wives. We're human. And all humans make mistakes. Even you.
Exactly. Bad customers is who we're talking to right now. Also, customers, so here's a great one. So, now that we kind of explained like what technicians have to actually go through to do what they do, let's talk about the customers that start to talk smack on them to their advisors. This happened to me recently, and it was even with a technician that I did not like. Did not like the man. He was rude. Absolutely rude. And honestly, a little iffy on his diagnosis. But at the end of the day, my job is to support them and to have their back. Because when I need it, they're going to have my back.
Yes.
So, let's get into this story. Customer, I tell him what's going on with his vehicle. It was covered under warranty. It was a $1,200 repair, $100 deductible. This man proceeded to scream at me for 14 minutes because it wasn't the part he thought it was. In the part that he thought it was, he said that I needed to go tell my technician to put his purse down and shake down that vehicle better. I was so floored and just flabbergasted that I told him to come down to the dealership, and I look forward to showing him what I'm talking about. A couple hours later, he did show up. And he shut up very quickly when my tech opened his mouth. He told him what was going on. He not only told him, he showed him. He showed him what was going on, showed him he was wrong. He was flat out wrong. And the guy said, "Oh, okay, sorry." Like, sorry? It's one of those moments where it's like, you went through all of that for what?
Yeah.
You tore somebody down for what? Because it makes you feel better? I mean, it's just bullying. It's just bullying brought into adulthood. Yeah. And I just didn't see a necessity for it. There wasn't a reason that brought that up. I didn't tell him he needed to pay $4,000 because this is what we think that is wrong with it. I didn't tell him we were throwing parts at it. That was what was wrong with it. 100% what was wrong with it.
Yeah, like you said earlier in the episode, you came to us.
Yeah, brother.
You put your vehicle in the hands of a technician and said, "Tell me what's wrong with it.
Help me out. Let's figure out what's going on."
That exact story is why you have to pay for a diagnostic fee every time you take your vehicle somewhere new. Because if our technician had just taken that guy's word, it wouldn't have been fixed. And then he's mad at the shop because his problem wasn't fixed. That's why you're charged diagnostics every time you take your car to a new technician.
Because if you're wrong, you pay for it. If we're wrong, we pay for it. That's the difference. So, I mean, you're paying for a warranty every single time you do that. You just take the initiative to pay the 1 hour to 5 hours, depending on what problem you have. If you have a noise, you're looking at maybe an hour. If you have an electrical gremlin, I'm sorry, but you're going to be paying 3 to 5 hours of diagnostics sometimes.
Yep.
You're going to be lucky if a tech can figure it out in 1 hour. And most of the technicians that I have met in my experience will only charge the diagnostic they use. If they're approved 5 hours, they only use 3. They're only going to charge you 3.
Yes.
They are not out to get you either.
Yes.
Because these guys, most of them, and especially the ones that I do have the privilege of working with currently, I think they're great people. Specifically 3 of them I can think of. You know who I'm talking about. They care about the people that they are taking care of.
Yep.
They care about the weird stuff. Well, this hook in the back, where a seatbelt could hook is just a little loose. Maybe we should do something about that to a customer. They're not really going to worry too much about it because it's not that loose. But the technician's going to think about it. They start to think about, what if my family's in that vehicle? What if my sister, my wife, my kids are in that vehicle? That's what most of them think about when they're looking at your car. So, I mean, there's a lot of care that comes with it, too. And then to have customers screaming at us. For what?
Yeah.
Do you feel like a big boy now? Because you yelled at me? When I say that's what I want to tell people. Because, I mean, where our podcast is at, we're women in the industry, right?
Yes.
Customers that I have that are women, most of them are very awesome. Very kind. I enjoy working with them. They listen. Now, some of them are meaner than chicken shit for no reason.
Yes.
No reason. Okay? You're getting filed into the mean men category as well. Because why? Just calm down.
Yeah.
If you are a technician...
There are plenty of Karens out there. We just see most of the Richards because we work in automotive.
Oh my God, and Richards are something. So, I had a gentleman come in on a Saturday. We're gonna start talking about Richards. His name was not Richard. But anyways,
His
it
name
was a
is
Saturday.
Richard now.
Now, at our dealership that we work out, we only work for 5 hours on a Saturday. It's a skeleton crew, so there's one technician, one advisor, nobody in parts, no management. That's it. You got 2 people. Okay? We're just trying to do oil changes. That's what we're trying to do on Saturdays. So that's how our Saturday worked at that dealership, at this dealership. My one technician I had there, he's a good technician, but he's not a master diesel tech. He is not certified in diesel repair. He just wasn't that technician, right? Most repair facilities are set up in who masters what, and that's how they get that work. Is it's dispersed based on that skill of that technician. So anyways, this technician didn't have that skill. So one of the managers from our sales department came over with his customer, said, "Guy's got to check engine light. He's absolutely floored. I got to figure out what's going on with it." So I grabbed that technician. Let's call that technician Steve. I grabbed Steve, told him to come out with me. He scanned the codes, explained that it had to do with the turbocharger, and that he'd seen diesel codes in there, but wasn't sure what they were meaning, if they were really on because of these turbo codes. That he'd need to, pull it in and have the shop foreman help him. The guy just starts screaming at me and Steve. When we didn't charge him anything to just scan those codes, take time out of our Saturday while I had 2 customers in the lounge waiting for me when I'm by myself trying to help this guy outside. I mean, it was the most embarrassing thing I have ever, I think, dealt with at this dealership, because there was customers watching it happen.
Yeah.
And he was just telling him, "You don't know what you're talking about. You guys are so stupid here. This is why nothing gets fixed here." And I mean, just screaming at us. And Steve is just standing there and looks at me like a kicked puppy. Doesn't know what to do. Like, "Man, I was just trying to help you. I told you I didn't know. I told you it was just turbo codes." It was sad. It was sad to see Steve get that way, because he's one of those guys that's a little bit more closed off. He's a little bit more sheltered. Lives with his parents, doesn't... he's just sheltered. So to see somebody scream at him like that when he really did just come out of his way to come and help when he didn't have to, I mean, it was rough. So I told that gentleman that he needed to leave and he wasn't welcome back. I said, "We came out, we helped you. You're just going to scream at us, go away." Yeah. You didn't even give us a second to explain to you what we're trying to explain to you, because you just want to scream. So go scream somewhere else, big boy. So he left. Little while later, that manager comes back over and apologizes very sincerely to me and the technician, just saying, that shouldn't have happened, and made that guy come in and apologize to both of us. Said he wasn't going to get help and they were going to cut off his warranty so that he didn't have to come back to the dealership.
Nice.
So when repair facilities come out and just do your tire pressure for free, they scan your codes for free. They help you with your wiper blades for free. I help you with your Bluetooth, because you can't get your phone to connect 50 times. Miss Sally, okay? Figure it out. You had the Subaru for 8 years. We know how to connect your Bluetooth. But we do it. Happily. Honestly, happily. Every single time I'll do it. Because Miss Susie's so sweet.
Right.
Or Sally, whatever I just called her. Miss Sally. Sweet. It's why we do it. I do it because I want to help people.
Yes.
I want to do something for them that makes their life easier. If I don't have to charge them a dime, I go home happier.
Yeah.
I don't need that dime.
Yeah, if it's something we can take care of for you on the service drive, or you and I walk out the front door and just go take a peek at it.
Mm-hmm. Resetting maintenance reminders. Putting in the sticker. I have mixed emotions about that.
Right. Like, it should absolutely be done. It should absolutely be done.
Yes, I'm not saying that their job isn't hard. I would never say anybody's job's not hard by any means. However, as a technician, most of them are in a rhyme or reason. They have a way of doing things.
Yes.
So when I have a technician forget to put an engine cover on, or the things that customers see.
Yes.
That's what gets me. Is it's what the customer will see that you did. Mm-hmm. They're not going to see the color of their oil is different. They're not going to see that the filter's different unless they crawl under it or find it in the cavity of your European fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, they're not really necessarily going to see that unless they find a way to check it. And so to do the things that they will see, it just registers in the customer's brain. This was done. They did take care of me. I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
Honestly, as a customer, if you forget my sticker, it doesn't matter if I don't even wait till my oil change.
Oh, yeah, it's what the customer's expecting.
Yeah, okay. It's what is expected.
Yeah.
Is you're going to replace my oil filter, drain plug if it's needed, engine air filter if it's needed, whatever is included in that oil change or that maintenancing of that vehicle that they're trying to do, they're going to expect all of it's done.
Yeah. And the sticker is what they see to assure them that it was.
Exactly. And so I think as a lube tech, as a technician even, especially, oh God, when techs do it, it makes me even more mad. Like, Brother Bear, you're a professional. Okay? Now you ain't no 12-year-old lube tech. You didn't just come in here from middle school. Come on now, you're a 45-year-old man, Jesse. Let's go.
You've been doing this for 15 years. You can't remember the sticker?
Yeah, just put in a sticker. It just, I think it kind of also bugs me more when they miss that stuff because we're the one that has to deal with the customer.
Yeah.
Coming back and they forgot my sticker again. Because it makes me embarrassed a little bit, I think is what it is. Because it's like, you guys know better. It's like children. You know better, Tommy.
Back into some stories, sort of.
Yes.
You were talking about the remote start, so
Oh, yeah.
push button start. And I thought about this the other day when you were in that Lexus. You weren't sure if it was on or not.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Now, put yourself in the situation where instead of a push button, this hybrid vehicle that makes no noise is a turnkey.
Oh no.
The first couple of times I got in one at Toyota, I'm like,
Hello.
is it on? I don't know
Are
what
we
to do.
awake?
So the push button was way easier for me because I just figured if the dash all lit up and my foot was on the brake, then it's on.
She's going. We're cruising. But wrong. Sometimes. I don't know if I'm ready to tell this story, but we're going to because this is the perfect time to do it.
Oh, goodness.
Electric vehicles. I think it was a Nissan
Leaf?
Yes. That's what that little thing was. This thing still haunts me in my dreams.
Oh my god.
So
Why
at
do they
this
do that?
time,
Why do I still dream about them?
yeah. Okay, can those demons just leave me? Okay, I learned my
Seriously?
lesson. I was embarrassed.
I don't want to see
It
that
won't
car
happen again. It won't happen again. So I was a lot technician at this time. So at a dealership, I just took care of the lot. I made sure the vehicles looked nice. I made sure that they got their services done. Made sure everything was up to date. Stickers. If they needed to be jump started, I was the one that went out and jump started those vehicles. Okay, that's important. Needed to explain that duty. So it was one cold morning, one cold December morning, and I was told that the Leaf wouldn't start. So, young Brooke walks out on the lot with a jump box that is so heavy that I have to teeter myself to distribute weight. So that was embarrassing enough, right? Embarrassing enough. I get to the car, and out of giggles, I just go to start it just to see if the guys weren't starting it right. I'm ready to make fun of somebody else. That's what made this experience worse. I go and start it. I don't hear nada. Not a tinkle. Not a doo-doo-doo. Nope. Not even a bloop. Like a bubble car out of a movie. You know, nothing. So I thought that it was dead. I open the hood. I go to the battery. Put on jumper cables. Don't even know if I shut that car off when I went out there to do that, by the way. So it could have been running while I was doing this. It isn't starting. I'm continuing to try. Putting it in different spots. Continuing to try. I'm expecting to hear the motor. This is the first time I was even around an electric vehicle. So I had no idea. No idea that it doesn't even sound like a purring kitten. Okay? So I go to the service manager. We're going to call him Ken. So I went and got Ken and I said, Ken, there's something wrong. I can't get this Leaf to start. his face went white when I told him I was jump starting it. And he says, let's go now. We run out to the car. Like, he ran. He's a short guy. To watch him run was like watching Mario leap. It was hilarious. So he was running to the car. He gets there and he rips the jump box. Like, completely grabs the handle, rips it off. And then just stands back. And I'm like, what did I do? And he's like, you're so lucky you aren't dead right now. He's like, that could have shocked you and killed you, Brock. And I said, what? What do you mean? I was just doing my duties as a lock tech, okay?
I just did what I was asked.
I was just told to jump it. And so he goes, oh my God, this is so much. It gets worse. It gets worse. So he closes the hood and he goes into the car and he says, it's on right now. And I said, no, it's not. And he said, watch. So he shuts it off, completely makes it go black, you know, all the gauges and everything. And he starts it. And you watch this little green gauge go, floop, floop, ready. The frickin' car said, ready. It tells you when it's ready to start driving.
That asked you?
So,
Who was it that asked you to go out there with the jump box?
The sales manager. I swear that man's whole...
Sales manager?
Listen, yes.
Didn't know it was an electric car.
Oh my God. This man set me up for failure every day of my life. But we'll talk about that trauma later. So, then there's also, it gets better. So if you ever do have to jump start this vehicle, it has a jump start button. It's a little picture of battery right next to the steering wheel. And you press that button and it starts it. Also, he said if you ever miss the ready come on, just put it in gear and he goes to drive and it does make a little bit of a noise. You can hear it turn on. So from then on out, every electric vehicle I've ever been in, the first thing I'll do is try and put it in gear if I'm not sure if it's on.
No.
Only way I'll know. I'll be honest. I hate that. I hate that.
Fun fact, if you ever happen to run across this, if you have a hybrid vehicle that the hybrid battery has died on a true hybrid, they start off of the hybrid battery.
Mm-hmm.
They don't, that's why they're silent. It doesn't kick over that motor.
Oh.
If the hybrid battery is dead, you cannot start the car unless you can force it to kick the gas motor over right away. The way you can do that is to turn the AC on. Because it has to run the compressor off of the gas motor.
For the listeners, you couldn't see my slow side eye to the camera. Oh my God. You know, and we live and learn. So, like, understand also the people that you're going to talk to, not all of them know everything.
Correct.
Most of them don't.
Most of us don't know
We don't.
anything.
So if you are worried about coming to me and saying, somebody said I need blinker fluid, I am so happy to say, sweetheart, they're trying to mess with you. You go tell them that they need fume detergent for their gas tank. I'll bring you back something with it. I'll help you. I will never make fun of you. But that's what makes us different, though.
Yep.
Not everybody's like that.
I think that's one of the reasons why female service writers in particular are so common, because you do have women that have had bad experiences, and young women in particular that maybe this is their very first time going to get their car serviced. Mm-hmm. And they've heard all these horror stories. They walk in and they see a woman, especially a young woman like you, and they're so much more assured the moment they walk in the door and see your face.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sort of ironic now, because when I was going to school for this garbage...
When I thought my life was going to be optimistic.
We were taught that the natural flow through the service department was lube tech, master tech, shop foreman, service advisor, service manager.
What?
That used to be the way that it was kind of expected to progress. The reason that advisors started getting hired on from the outside is because technicians aren't nice.
That makes so much sense, because they're not. They're nice to us most of the time.
Most technicians cannot stand being in the office. They cannot stand talking to customers. They especially can't stand dealing with them over the phone.
No. Oh, God. Just imagine an old man waiting on hold and just talking to a robot.
Oh my goodness.
That's our technicians.
Most of them can only keep that customer service face on for, I would say, maybe an hour.
I know of 2 of them that last 2 minutes and then they gotta leave.
Like, most of them can put it on for a customer if they have to go on a test drive or something like that because they can't figure out what the hell noise you're hearing.
Oh, God.
Half of them are deaf and the other half just hear things rattling around in your car and don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So, random story. Our foreman. Did I ever tell you about the last test drive he had to go on with a lady and a charger?
No.
Oh, man. So, he's... Okay, I don't know how to even go about describing this story. She had a noise concern, I'm pretty sure is what it was, which is why she needed him to go on the test drive. She did not ask for the test drive till she seen him. She was saying, no, it's not a big deal. I'll just wait for it to get worse. He walked around and said, hey, I'm so sorry. You know, in his voice that he's got when he's trying to talk to women. I'm so sorry about that noise. If you want to go on a test drive, you let me know. You know, does his little... Okay? Little fly man swag. So she says...
He's so suave. He really is.
so suave. So she says... Actually, yeah, let's maybe that test drive would be a good idea just to make sure I'm safe. For the viewers, you can't see me brush my hair behind my ear as I say that. So they go on the drive. They come back. That woman was so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. She was so red in the face. She was so excited. She came in and said, I think I was hearing things. Oh, my goodness. And she leaves. She steps away for a minute and the tech goes back into the shop. She comes up to the desk and says, that man is finer than wine. He talks to a woman like I have never heard before. Is he single? Is he single? And I said, no, he's married with so many kids. So many kids. A whole football team he's got. And she says, well, I'd be an okay stepmom. When I tell you, I was embarrassed. Why am I the middleman for that? I didn't ask to be into that flirting. Y'all were in the car together. Y'all could have kept that there. You didn't need to bring it up to the desk. I don't need to be involved in that. So what did I do? I go to him and I start making fun of him. And I said, what did you do to that woman? Okay, she didn't even want the test drive until you came over here and said, I'm so sorry. I almost was done with get the heck out of here.
Right.
Back to the beginning of this episode. I want you to leave when we're done. Okay, I got things to do and it's taking care of other people who don't think I'm taking care of them. Oh, it was hilarious. And all he had to say was, oh, she was sweet. I was just trying to be nice. Okay. Mick Jagger, calm down. It was hilarious. Still one of my all-time favorite things that happened so far at this dealership.
Why do I see him, flick his braids?
Oh, he did. Even around over the shoulder. Because he had leaned the paperwork on the desk and then said, I'm so sorry I couldn't hear that noise.
Oh, my God.
Shoulder flex and everything.
Oh, my God. I can see it. I can absolutely witness this happening in my brain.
We deal with some stuff, okay? And honestly, I would describe a dealership almost like a high school.
Oh, God, yes.
It's almost like a high school.
Since the first Trump campaign, I've always been like, if you are offended by the locker room talk, you need to hang out in the kitchen or shop.
Oh, my gosh.
And shop's pretty mild compared to a kitchen sometimes.
So I have worked in construction, right? Construction before I was in the dealership world. I was in construction for 2 years. A year and a half. I was there for a year and a half before I hurt my back and came to do service writing. Well, I was a detailer. Digress, you don't need to know my history. Anyways, so at that time, I thought that what they said was bad. I'm talking concrete workers. I thought what those men said was bad. I have never wanted to not walk into a conversation when I am just trying to get an update for my customer until I came into a shop. I am just asking you what bolt you said was broken, and I come in hearing about what you guys did last night. I don't need to know. I didn't need to know that. I don't want to hear about you guys holding each other up on the lift. Like Titanic scenes. Come on. I don't want to be here for this. I'm just here to ask about the bolt. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into those conversations and the first thing I'll say is, I'm so sorry to be here. I did not ask for this.
I mean, the funny thing to me is that as raunchy as our men are, the women in this industry are worse.
Oh my god, I can think of one right now. We're just gonna call her Sally. Okay?
Everyone stays anonymous on Service Riders Anonymous except the service riders.
Yeah, not everybody asked to be here for this. So I'm trying. But it's kind of hard. I don't know how you guys do this on the daily. So, okay. Anyways, we'll talk about Sally for a minute. She was a mechanic. So she went to school. Super nice girl. Super nice girl. She was actually married to one of the mechanics that were there at the first dealership I was working at.
Why?
Yeah, it was a bad time because let me tell you what. When they broke up, it was awkward. There was only 4 lifts in that shop. It was bad. He dropped... yeah, too many stories. We'll go back to that. So, she had walked in one day after they had divorced and said that to all of the mechanics, that cheating, stinky mother trucker, I swear I couldn't believe I stayed with him this long. I'm just gonna be with the rest of you from here on out. When I tell you one of the technicians, we'll call him Nate, looked at me in fear. Straight up fear. Almost like asking me for help. And so I said, nope, we don't go around the workplace. Let's not do that. Sally, calm down. Calm down, Sally. At least go to a different dealership if that's what we're going to be doing. Don't do it here. There's 4 lifts in this shop. And one of them is your husband's. Or ex-husband's. It was awful. It was awful. She ended up actually leaving because of it. Because she was talking like that and that sort of thing. She was non-filtered. Not a filter in that woman.
I've known 2 female technicians personally. One of them went to school with me, so she actually went through automotive while I went through diesel. Mm-hmm. But she is now the lead tech for waste management, so, just swap those roles right away.
That's awesome.
But she got her first job as a technician at the Ford dealership.
Really?
Where she met her husband. Who I believe is still with the Ford dealership. And she went to waste management before they actually got together.
What's with that? Dating in a workplace, what is wrong with you people?
Like I said, I don't think they were not working together anymore when they got together.
Oh, okay. Being able to kind of hear a personal experience, from a technician coming to somebody who he cares about, to explain about what he deals with from a different point of view. Because our techs will come to us to vent all the time, but that's not our spouses.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. And so hearing about how they made the notes that they needed to quote the correct parts, and they were able to find them. They even found their part numbers for him, and that stuff was ordered wrong, and the stress that they have to deal with, because now they can't get this job done. So they lost 14 hours they were planning. You guys have no idea how much planning goes into their days.
Right.
Because they're not paid by the hour. They're paid by what they sell. So whatever they can get done in a certain amount of time, that's what they get paid.
Yep.
If it took them double the time, they're in the negative.
Yeah.
In a sense, they're behind on their tracks.
There's this product called a labor guide. The most common ones that I know of are AllData and Mitchell. Mitchell is also known as ShopKey. Mm-hmm. These software, every shop has to purchase because it tells them what that job pays. So your engine removal, your radiator removal, all of that is what's called a flat rate job. Mm-hmm. So your technician gets paid what the book says they do. So if it's a 5-hour job, and it takes them 2 hours, they get paid 5 for 2 hours worth of work. But if if it flags for 5 and it takes them 10,
They only
they
get paid
worked
5.
for 5 hours for free.
And I actually specifically had a customer screaming. Now, I'm not being dramatic when I say scream. I mean screaming to the point where I have to turn my phone down because I could no longer hear them appropriately through the phone.
Or if they're standing in front of you, they're spitting on you.
Oh, those are my absolute favorite. Love to be seasoned with your attitude. So, this gentleman was yelling at me about that specific thing, book time. Well, it only book times, it only pays, 8 hours or whatever. Why is it taking 2 days? I said, sir, that's just what it pays. That is not how long it is actually going to take him to do this. There's more to it that he just rolled into that 8 hours for you.
Yeah.
He's just charging you 8 hours. And he started to dock our text saying that they didn't know what they were doing, that if he was a master mechanic, they would have been able to do it in the time that it is an overall percentage of how quick these guys can do it. And how dare you, in a way? Like, again, we were trying to help you, and you're screaming at me. For what?
Yeah.
We're still in the same predicament. You could scream at me all day about your part not being there on time. You could scream at me all day about how much something pays or what the door rate is that I can't change or the taxes that I can't change or whatever else that I cannot change. It's still going to be what it's going to be. You just look like a jerk.
Yeah.
You just look like a jerk, and I am not going to help you again. I will make sure that you are charged full markup on parts, full door list. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the customers that rant and rave and holler that we want to give discounts to.
No.
That we want to help out.
No. It's the ones that are appreciative, that understand what we're doing.
Yep.
Honestly, if I could, for those ones, I'd make it all free. And I've said that before multiple times. I think since we've met, I've talked about that. When I first started being a service advisor, I used to pay for key fob batteries for customers. I wouldn't charge it. Would not charge the $5 to a customer. I would pay that. So I spent $200 on key fob batteries a month to make sure that I always had key fob batteries for people. Yep. Anybody that asked for them, I just gave it to them. Because why do you have to, why? Why can't I just do that for you?
Right.
I just want to help. I just want to be there. Do something kind. It was $5. I spend that on junk food. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah, the customers that... You remember a customer's name for one of two reasons. You either really, really loved them, or you really never want to work with them again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, when your advisor walks up to you and goes, "Hey, Hannah, how are you today?" It's because they love working with you.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many customers at Toyota, they're like, "God, is it bad the advisors all know my name?" And I looked at her and I said, "Absolutely not."
That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
We remember your name because we love you.
But if you walk in the door and I say, "Oh, you can't hear my eyes," looking you up and down, ready for a fight, and then you have to say, "Hi, how you doing?" And then we say, "Hi, what's your phone number?" We know who you are. I know your name. I know what vehicle you have. But I also hate your soul. Hate your essence. Hate your time. Wish I didn't have to deal with it. Want to tell you to leave. Want to tell you no. Nope, take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Take it somewhere else.
I so miss being able to fire customers.
Why can't we anymore? And that's something also I think would be good to talk about is why we can't fire customers anymore. And I think a lot of it has to do with the industry has just kind of gotten more greedy because they kind of have to.
Yeah, it's especially from a dealership standpoint, the market has been so unstable on vehicles since, I mean, on everything really, but what we see is the vehicle side. The market has not stabilized after COVID. The the new car dealerships couldn't get new cars because of COVID's being shut down all over the world. Factories all over the world shut down. So the used car market went through the roof, and demand for used cars went through the roof, and nobody could keep cars anywhere.
Yeah.
And then 2022, 2023, the used new cars started getting back on the lots, but the used cars still stayed in demand.
Yep. Yeah, it was an interesting thing that I actually seen during the pandemic. Was originally it was new cars were selling out constantly, but because of the pandemic, warehouses shut down. It was a pandemic.
Yep.
So nothing, what was it, the non-essential workplaces were all shut down.
Yep.
Manufacturers were shut down.
It wasn't necessary to make new cars because everybody already has a car. You don't need to buy a new one as far as the government was all concerned.
So the chips for your heated and cooled seats, whatever else, updates. You know, there were so many, well, not updates, those are from a scan tool. SD cards, that was what I was thinking of. SD cards, the chips and the seats, all of those different things, from my experience at GM, they were not available. They were on back order.
Yep.
We had what was called a lot, and I think it was in Oklahoma, and it was called the Purgatory, where these vehicles sat for 6 months to a year, waiting for the parts to come available, that people had purchased. Those vehicles were purchased.
Yeah.
And if nobody understood, when you purchased it, the factory warranty started. Whether all the parts were installed in that truck or not, the factory warranty was started. It is started at manufacturing date. So when it was manufactured and it was sold, there's your warranty. So if you didn't get that truck for a year, you finally got the chip or the SD card installed, well, you only have 2 years and 36,000 miles of bumper to bumper left. Not 3 years. You know what I mean? So I had dealt with customers who were very upset about that, which is what makes me think about it.
Yeah.
One specific gentleman, super nice guy, but he was so upset about that. He was like, I've already been paying on this for a year, and there's already a year up of the warranty burned up, and I barely just got it, and this is just bogus, and blah, 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 blah. And it was real.
Well, honestly, I feel like that was pretty bogus, because, like, I bought my truck in 2022, brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And I had told the dealer what I wanted, and by the way, that salesman was an idiot.
Most of them are.
That particular one caught me real bad, because there were two things. The radar cruise control, which is standard on every Tacoma, regardless of trim level or transmission, and the key fob. Because I asked him specifically, are all of the TRD off-roads a key fob or a real key?
Right.
And he's like, nope, they're all fobs, and you can't have the radar cruise control. You can't, actually, he said you can't have cruise control on a manual transmission. I was like, well, the Renegade sitting out in the parking lot waiting to be traded in says otherwise. But anyway, so I ordered this truck in early March, late February.
Of 22.
Yes.
Okay.
So I had told the salesman what I was looking for. He looked at what was already allocated, because this was a pretty big dealership in Denver. Mm-hmm. So he looked up what their next allocation was, and there was one that was very, very close. It was $800 more. Had one package I didn't specifically want. Mm-hmm. And that's the tonneau cover, which I ended up loving. So I waited a cumulative total of 6 weeks. But all they took from me was a deposit. They didn't sell me the vehicle.
Oh, really? So you didn't make payments on it
No.
until it was there?
I didn't. My 45 days to my first payment started the day I signed paperwork. My warranty started the day I signed paperwork. My 2 years of roadside assistance started the day I signed paperwork.
That's wild.
So I feel like that was pretty underhanded to actually be letting people make payments on a sale on a vehicle they didn't even have. I wonder if there's lawsuits for that. I bet there's class
Oh,
actions
I'm
out there.
sure there is.
I bet there's
There
class
was a
action
lot with
suits for that.
GM, with Ford on the transmissions, their 10 speeds when they first had come out with them. There was lawsuits on that, which is why they had recalled something about the 10 speed. I forgot what it was. The 10R80 transmission. And then for GM, there was a lawsuit. What was it about?
I know recently their transmissions.
The Allisons?
No. Well,
Or the 8 speeds? Because the 6 and 8
I
speeds
think
are
it was
trash.
both.
The 6 and 8 speeds were such bad transmission.
think
We
there
had the
is
torque
something going on
converter
with the
shuttle.
diesels,
Torque converter shuttle. Torque converter shutter that was causing these transmissions to fail. But the torque converter wasn't covered under powertrain, only the transmission was, or something like that. There was something along those lines that made it to where it wasn't covered. And people were getting just flat out angry about it. So that would not surprise me if that was a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because it did. It left a lot of people without vehicles. I mean, I know the Kia Carnival vans had a mass recall because of a lawsuit of those vans catching on fire. It killed 2 families when the lawsuit came about. One, I believe, was in Denver. The van had set fire in Denver and killed the lady and I think it was a kid in the back in this van because it just caught fire. And it actually brought up a conversation with one of my Ford Master Techs about the spark in the dash. That the Carnival van had some sort of spark in the dash that caused it to burn down. Ford had it when some mechanics messed up electrical connections inside the dash. It would cause it to catch fire. And it would be so quick, and it's an electrical fire, so it's hard, you can't put it out. It's almost impossible to put out.
Right.
Crazy.
Like the Teslas. Like,
Yeah.
electric cars catch on fire. The truck. Tesla has a, like, 1-seater semi. It's the weirdest looking thing. So it's got this huge glass front window that just curves over you, and the driver is in the center of the cab.
Okay.
Really bizarre looking vehicle. There was one that caught fire on the side of the, well, they got it to the side of the road on a highway in California. It was so hot, firefighters couldn't get within a mile of this truck to try and put it out.
Oh my gosh.
Because those lithium-ion batteries burn so hot, and that truck was so... I mean, they were trying to have the realistic range of a 300-gallon diesel tank. So they had so many batteries in this thing to make it get that kind of range.
It's just scary
Yes.
anymore.
Electric vehicles are terrifying, and, you know, pretty much every shop I've ever been to, interviewed at, worked for, every single one of them has said, I know that it's coming. I'm going to have to get one of my guys certified on electric cars, but I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
it's
in
a
the
liability.
nobody, absolutely nobody that loves cars wants to work on these things.
No. Nope. Nothing about them's interesting, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's nothing really fancy or cool about them. They don't sound cool. I think that they're strange.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is. It's strange. Like the Cybertrucks.
Yeah. Well, they're cars for people that are not car people.
No, they're not. You know, they want them to drive for themselves. They want them... They just want to be passengers.
Yep. I want to get from A to B, and I don't care how I get there as long as it's quick and warm.
Yep, exactly. Or cool if need be. What a world we live in. But I think that might be the end of the Good Customer episode.